All right. Another episode. IggyThaMan, episode 11. So we're trucking along. Make sure you subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Got some good stuff in the works. Couple good subjects. Today's topic is going to be something that's very dear to me, very close to me. It is going to be, what is Bad Bunny? And no, it is not Lola from Space Jam, the cute little bunny that they had on Space Jam, for those of you that are millennials. Gen Zers probably don't even know about that. They probably know about the movie or the film made with LeBron James. But yeah, we have a great episode. I'm going to be quoting, let's see, look his name. It is a clip from Teflon TV. Shout out to Teflon TV for having such amazing content. It's about a 15-minute clip. I'll probably fast forward a little bit through it and then just kind of touch into the parts that, I want to talk about. A lot of symbolism, Bad Bunny, and I'm going to quote my favorite modern philosopher, Kanye West, when he was, I guess, being picked on or, trying to be told that he needs to stick to rapping. And something that I do agree with him is that, when it comes to artistry, oh, yeah, I need my
refreshments.
Oh, refreshment. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Ted. We got Benji and Ted in the back. Soon I'll be adding a paywall so you guys get to see the people that are in the back that make this happen. Wonderful director, producer, Benji, and then my good dear friend, brother, Ted, also plays a mean game of golf.
We have a good time.
Good time, always a good time. We always try to have a good time for you guys because that's what this is about, man. It's, let's have fun with these uncomfortable conversations or these like crazy conversations instead of making them so serious, Leave the seriousness for politicians and for your parents because, they always make everything serious. But no, Kanye West made a comment and he said that why is it that people try to pigeonhole his artistry into just music? And he said one of the many things he said, this not so crazy because he has definitely... So I say he's my philosopher because he says some things that make you question society and things that happen. But he said, why are you trying to corner my artistry? He said, I'm an artist. And being an artist can be, you can transfer your artistry through different mediums, which is what I'm doing now. I would have never thought I could be an artist in this capacity to being in front of the camera, but luckily I've had such a good team, and Benji has been behind me, and he's coached me every step of the way on trying to get my message across, which is, who says that uncomfortable conversations have to be boring?
A lot of things that need to be said.
Facts, things that need to be said. We don't have to make it so serious and so challenging and so dramatic. I mean, of course, some things need to be dramatic, but some things, hey, we could just have fun with it, and that's the beauty of I think it's something that has been lost in America too, where it's just being honest and speaking your mind and not being super. I mean, with freedom of speech, you have freedom of consequence. Your words have meaning, especially as a man. I'm one of those that say that a man stands 10 toes down every time he speaks, and he should always speak with conviction and with poise. So I'm not gonna get on a tangent. Sorry, I'll just do this. Benji's telling me to move on. So we're going to talk about the symbolism of Bad Bunny. First thing that I'm going to show, let me put this right next to Granddad. Not to block him. Oh, God. See? This is how you know this is real. Because things like that happen. Are you okay? Love you.
It's like it never happened.
Yeah, so that happened. We could edit that out if Benji decides creatively that needs to come off. It can come off.
No, we're keeping it real, man.
Keeping it real. Always keep it real. So a couple of things I want to talk about today. Give you a little bit of the segments. Obviously, tried and true. We're going to start with a what not the type of person not to be when you come to Austin. Always an Austin clip. I like to put these little altercation videos as the first thing just to set the mood. But when we start talking about Bad Bunny, when we talk about what sort of message Bad Bunny was trying to send, he took an opportunity to be very polarizing in a way, but in a positive way, in my opinion. And then I'm going to tell you guys some truths that come along with the statements that he made, which I think are very important. Because, we live in an era of victimhood. Victimhood is a virus to me. I view it as like one of the worst things that's ever happened in society, where everybody thinks that they have to be victim. They're a victim in some capacity. Like, listen, you're only a victim if you make yourself a victim. Let's be honest, okay? So we have first clip. It's going to be the altercation. This happened in Austin. I'm going to tell you the date first. It's going to be... Whoa. Guys, every time that I show a video regarding like 6th Street, what they call dirty, which some people compare to New Orleans Bourbon Street, which is nothing like that. It's just similar, but in reality, New Orleans Bourbon Street is just historical. It's got a lot of stuff going on. We have a very historical street, but this is why I don't go on this street, man. Stuff like this. So let's watch the clip, play some music and see, or some sound. Guy got slumped over. Guys, yeah, don't get in a fight. Nothing good's gonna come out of this, man. Look at that guy slumped over. You imagine he hits his head, brain swelling. Guys, like, what do you have to prove, man? It's like, oh, another slumped over. Oh, now slumped over. Oh, my God.
Right in the face.
That guy, man, that guy's going to suffer some damage. I'm sorry, but don't. Yo, if you're the type of weak man that kicks a dude while he's down, you deserve the worst of the worst. I'm going to be honest.
Was that the guy that actually punched him, or was it somebody else that was just kind of?
I don't even know. This is nonsense, man.
Yeah.
Look, the police gets there. Now the police get there. And see, and yeah, that's enough of that. Guys, don't come to us and act like that. Come on. Like, so many bad things can happen. You could end up restarted, and then you end up being not so smart anymore. Like, just don't do it, man. Fighting on the streets is nothing. If you're over 30, don't get in altercations, because they're no longer injuries. They're called liability or disabilities. Once you're over 30 and you end up suffering an injury, that is a disability, because you're going to feel that later on. You don't heal like you used to. But yeah, so that sets the tone on that. I always give the same speech, and the reason I keep bringing up these fights is because this is a real fact of Austin. When you go to dirty, which I never go, because I'm prone, being this handsome and good looking, I'm prone somebody hating on me, and the last thing I want to deal with is some haters, God forbid I wear this outfit if I go to Rainy. And I got to go on with my mob deep, because I'm not about to put up with that. Somebody's bound to pick on me. So, but yeah, moving on. I'm going to start playing this clip by Teflon TV. My quick opinion regarding Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance. I think he did good. I think he took the chance to... Bad Bunny's an artist in and in. And again, I'm going to quote my favorite philosopher, Kanye, or reference him again, because when it comes to music, man, like, music always delivers a message, It's supposed to make you feel something, whether it's got words or whether it's just sound or a combination of both. Music that lasts is music that delivers an emotion or a message, It's either a message for within yourself or a message about society. This is why American culture is the number one export that America has. I don't know if many of you guys knew that. If you disagree with me, go ahead and leave a comment and tell me what you think America's #1 export is. And don't say arms, okay? Because everybody knows we're the best at everything we do. So, yeah, so I'm going to play this clip, and then I'll pause it in between when I feel like it needs to be paused to talk a little bit about it. The section that we're on is a bomba. We have bomba y plena, which I think Brazil has something similar with capoeira, but it was a way for African slaves in Puerto Rico to get a message across and to communicate with each other by convincing the colonists and the Spaniards that they were just performing. And it was a way for them to maintain their African roots, their African culture. And they molded it in a way where it was palatable for the Spaniards so they can keep practicing and maintain a little bit of their identity. You know, this episode is very heavy on identity. Obviously, as a Puerto Rican American, very important to me. So here we go.
Bad Bunny didn't just bring the heat for the Super Bowl this year, he also brought a massive history lesson. In this video, I'm going to explain to you everything that it represents and everything he was trying to say with his stellar Super Bowl performance. Do me a favor, subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Let's get it started. That massive sugarcane field wasn't just a vibe.
I'm assuming Teflon TV, what he's talking about, or where he's starting from. He's not starting from like the beginning where, you know, the Spaniards showed up and that's like the recorded what Puerto Rico was like. I think he's trying to attach where does a lot of Bad Bunny's musical influence come from and cultural, because, you know, to be honest, like African culture has touched every single part of every country in the New World, some more than others. Puerto Rico being I think one of the closest ports from the slave trade. We're very proud of our Afro Latino identity, and so am I. So, you know,
It was a defiant nod to Puerto Rico's past. See, for centuries, the Caribbean was treated like a giant ATM for European empires. But it is here where two cultures fuse together, making one united culture, the Puerto Rican people that we see today, and a musical sound that tied everything together. When you hear that powerful rhythm of bomba, you probably think of dance, powerful Puerto Rican culture. But what if I told you that this started as a weapon? And I'm going to tell you exactly how Bad Bunny used this to explain. This is how it all started. And just like Bad Bunny's show, our beginning doesn't start on the stage. No, it begins on...
And remember that as soon as you landed in the New World as an African slave, your whole identity was taken from you. Your name was no longer your name. Whatever African indigenous name you had was taken away from you. Your culture, religion. We have so many. Santeria is one of them. Voodoo. Many different religious beliefs that melted with the Spanish Christian or Catholicism, really mostly. Religious beliefs, and became what those became, you know, because you couldn't have your name, you couldn't practice your religion, so you had to come up with a new religion that you would have to keep under wraps, but because you weren't allowed to practice your original one, then you created something new to give you strength. I mean, all religions are founded to teach you something and to give you strength. It's man that turns them into something evil.
On the sugar plantations of the 1500s. And back then, bomba really wasn't an art. It was more of a life and death situation. It was an absolutely critical tool for enslaved Africans fighting for their freedom.
It's kind of like Morse code on a
Think
small
about
scale,
this.
basically.
When the first
Basically, yes,
Africans
Ted, good
were
job.
forcibly
Good
brought
observation.
to Puerto Rico, they carried something with them that the Spanish colonizers completely underestimated: their knowledge of their drums. And these weren't just for music. They became weaponized communication and a special network. And this is where everything changes. The drums became a voice, a kind of strength, a system that was completely invisible to the Spanish overseers. It was a language spoken entirely in rhythm. So let's be crystal clear about this. This just wasn't random noise to pass the time.
fascinating way
It
to
was
communicate.
code, a highly efficient system of sending sensitive, vital information across vast.
What I liked about the way he did it, and the Bad Bunny way he did it,
different messages.
was it
You know,
was very
one
similar
beat might
to
signal
what
immediate
Kendrick
danger.
did in the last
Another
Super
could
Bowl,
be a call
but
to gather in a
it
secret
was a
spot.
lot more
a third
subtle.
could be a crucial warning,
And
like the overseer
I love that
is watching
you kind of have to
what
research
this
it a little bit to
created
know
was a
exactly,
massive-
which I think is cool. It's like an Easter egg.
I think where
Very much so.
where Bad Bunny did it better than Kendrick, and
I agree on that. Yeah.
don't be attacking me, all right, guys, because I know everybody's biased, but like they're
It's hard to say better.
It's called subjectivity, y'all.
the reason
Exactly.
that I think Bad Bunny or where I think Bad Bunny is different. There you go. Did
Different,
it differently.
exactly.
Yeah, the way he did it differently
It's
was
not
that Bad
better or
Bunny
worse,
actually
yeah.
took his whole album and did excerpts of every single song in his latest album, which is the one of the tracks I don't recall is the one they gave. If you remember the track that got first track to get 1 billion listenings on Spotify, write on the comments, let me know.
Yeah.
And the whole show or the whole performance was him bringing in that whole album in small excerpts and while telling a story with everything that was going on in the back. So
Yeah, I'm not as familiar with his music, but yeah, I like the history.
we'll skip a little bit forward on this. You guys understand kind of the premise of this. I'll quote, and I'm going to tag the link as well, guys. I'm going to tag the link of this video so you guys can watch the video as well if you're interested.
Information advantage. It was a complete power shift. The enslaved population knew exactly what was going on, while the Spanish, to them, it was just random drumming by Africans. We used that as a strategy. They heard warnings. They heard calls to action. They're always one step ahead. But you know, a secret that powerful can't last forever. Eventually, the Spanish started to catch on. They realized that this wasn't just entertainment. They saw people gathering. They saw these coordinated movements, and they finally recognized the power behind this rhythm. And their reaction, it was swift, and it was also brutal. They responded with pure fear and suppression, and they outlawed
Culture,
everything.
guys. This is what
Drumming
culture is so
was
important.
banned. Gatherings were broken up. Just playing a drum was punishable by death. They literally went on a campaign to find and destroy every single drum they can get their hands on, trying to cut off this communication for good. But here's the thing. You can break an instrument, but you cannot break a spirit of the people.
Shout out
The
to
culture
me,
didn't
not
die.
to sound
It just
arrogant, but it's kind of what I'm trying to do with this show a little bit. Is just to use satire as a way to make fun of complicated issues, so we could just talk about them, just to break the ice and get talking about it. You don't need to get upset. Just have fun with it.
spirit of the people. The culture didn't die. It just went underground and adapted. And their survival strategy was just so brilliant. They rebuilt their drums in a secret way, using everything that Spanish people would just consider everyday items. They used old rum barrels, animal skins, whatever they could find. And they also got strategic about when they played. They would play during thunderstorms, so the sound would be masked, or even camouflaged by the rhythms when Catholic festivals were all noise just blended in the background. But the walls were closing in, with the Spanish watching more closely. Even these clever tricks got riskier. So communication, once again, had to evolve. It had to become something that they can do right in front of their colonizers, something hidden in plain sight. I mean, really.
Afro-Taino, but as well, it incorporated the Spaniard influence by the attires that they were wearing. So it was a way for them to be, kind of a little bit of flex and saying, hey, look, we can do it just as good as you guys can do it. Maybe even better.
Think about that for a second. How do you pass a secret message when an
Los
enemy is
Paraguas,
staring
shaved
right at
ice,
you,
that's what it's called in Puerto
listening for
Rico.
every sound that you make? The answer was pure genius. They hid the message inside the dance itself. And this is really Wambamba as we know it. began
La
to form.
casita.
The communication shifted from just a drum to an
Castilla
incredible
casita.
interaction between the dancer and the drummer. The dancer was now sending a signal. So from the outside, all the Spanish could see was entertainment. You know, slaves dancing and having fun, maybe blowing off a little steam. It looked completely harmless.
And this is normal behavior in Puerto Rico when they have festivals and there's like marching and parades and stuff. People hop on the roofs and they just hang out and watch it. It's just normal behavior.
Maybe even beneficial from their point of view. But to the community, it was the exact same coded language, just in a new form. Every single step, turn.
I like that shot right there. That shot is just basically them trying to relive the. I guess I would say like I would even use this like golden years of Puerto Rico, which is right when America went in and elevated the economy of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico had always been neglected for a long time. Kind of brings up one of my points. Puerto Rico has always been mismanaged. I mean, throughout its history, I think in the past it was strictly mismanaged by the local government that was never in control. Puerto Rico is trying to give you guys a little education. Espérate, Sofia. Espérate, Sofia. Puerto Rico is a territory, commonwealth, which means we model our governmental body after the United States. But see, now she's mad at me. But we decide how we want to apply it. So we have a Senate, we have Congress, House of Representatives, and we have a governor. Puerto Rico is not allowed to vote in the presidential elections if you live in Puerto Rico, but you do have representatives, which honestly I should have done my research. If anybody knows, I put it on the description, but if anybody beats me to it, go ahead and write on the comments who are the oh wait, Benji's gonna do work. Never mind, guys, you don't have to do it. We're gonna tell you here in a second. But right now, Puerto Rico is a commonwealth, and we're allowed to, do a lot or do the things that we want to do, how we want to do them, as long as we follow somewhat of a.
What was the question?
The question is, who are the representatives for the country of Puerto Rico in American politics? Because I'm pretty sure we have like senators. We don't have Congress people. I think we have senators. But Benji's going to tell us. Benji's the best. He's going to do this real quick. Also, Lady Gaga being on there was pretty cool. I mean, I have my reservation about Lady Gaga. There's a lot of spiritual stuff going on with her. The whole music industry is just kind of chaos to me. I think that's why they kind of force guys to wear dresses and stuff in order to be part of it. Or part of the... Can you hear me, Benji?
Yeah. So it says Puerto Rico is an unincorporated. Am I saying that right? Unincorporated. I got it. Unincorporated territory of the United States, not a U.S. state. Okay, so because of that, it does not have voting representation in the U.S. Congress, meaning Puerto Rico elects one non-voting member to the U.S. House called the resident commissioner.
Excellent. So we are represented in the House of Representatives.
So the current commissioner as of 2026 is Pablo Jose Hernandez Riviera.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Benji. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
So there you have it. That's, Puerto Rico does get a little bit of representation in government, but since we're not our state, then we don't get equal representation. But we're still heard. Our voices are still heard. America still does what they can. Ooh, El Morro is beautiful, guys. If you've never been to Puerto Rico, most of you will go to Puerto Rico, and it's going to be Old San Juan, which is a Spanish fort. And just to add to that, Old San Juan, since we live here in Texas, just like Galveston is to Texas, how it's an island off the coast of Texas, Old San Juan is a little island off the coast of San Juan, the whole state of San Juan or the whole section of San Juan, and you reach it by bridge. The reason the Spaniards, and this is to a big credit to the Taínos, the reason they had to build a fort city is because any time the Spaniards would try to build a town in the mainland, the Taínos would just go and burn it down. So for those we grew up getting that colonial history, and they used to teach us that the Taínos were peaceful people, which they kind of were. Some were, but some sects were. Once they found out what the Spanish were there to do, they refused to let them build any towns, and it took them a very long time before they could actually establish towns in the mainland. But that's why they focused the efforts on building a fort city, very beautiful fort city, a little bit dilapidated now, because it's they're old Spaniard buildings made out of some concrete, and these are like hundreds of year old buildings. So you're gonna love it if you go though. But it's a big fort. Underneath the fort, there's a bunch of tunnels that you cannot access. Some people can if you go in there. Some of this, which is a big trend right now of exploring abandoned places. If you go in there with some bolt cutters, you could probably cut some locks and go through those tunnels. But I don't suggest it because you will get lost very, very quickly. But there's an interesting fact about Puerto Rico when you go next time. Puerto Rican amapola. That was cool. That couple actually got married. If anybody knows who that couple is, tell me. Give me a shout out on the comments. Skipping a little bit ahead. Yeah, I had a TV like that when I was a kid. Dang, I forgot the name on that. Benji, can you find out what the name of the traditional Puerto Rican straw hat is? Also, all the Bad Bunny apparently had a big deal about having all these like interesting fact about the Super Bowl. If you guys didn't know, I found this out while I was doing my research. The reason that the people were wearing the outfits is because of the grass. You can only have so many heavy items on there, like platforms, in order not to damage the grass when they resume the game. So they had to dress people up. Feel bad for the people on the bottom because they weren't able to really see the full event. They were just seeing tall grasses. What's up, Benji?
Sombrero de pava, often just called
Sombrero de pava. La pava. La pava is the hat that you're looking at right there with the gentleman. That guitar that he's playing is the cuatro, which has 5 sets of strings. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what they call the actual on the guitar, the part, but it's double stringed, which is what gives it that very high, and it's a small body guitar, so it gives a very high pitched sound. Very traditional when we sing our folklore music, especially in Christmas. If you go to Puerto Rico and you go to Fortin, Christmas is the time to go. Christmas goes hard in Puerto Rico, guys. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you. But I do like what Bad Bunny did with the set. He kind of added everything. The casita is like a standard home in Puerto Rico, cinder block cement, but country home is just like a couple rooms, 3 rooms in the mountains. And that's kind of what he was trying to say, like that country heritage of what they called give me 2 seconds, Jíbaro. Jíbaro is what cowboys are here. Jíbaros were your farmers, were your countrymen that would go around in horses, rando cattle, that would go around and tend to the land, the Jíbaros. I grew up part of my life I grew up in Ponce. Ponce is what they say. Ponce is Ponce y el resto es parking. It means Ponce is Ponce, the rest is just a parking lot. Ponce was where a lot of the light-skinned Spaniard descendants would live. Second biggest town. Biggest one, obviously, San Juan. Second one, Ponce, was another port on the south side of the island. And but I spent my parents met in San Sebastian, which is a very small country town. Both of my grandparents lived there. So I grew up literally living every aspect of what Bad Bunny showed. So, don't ever question me about being Puerto Rican, because I can go toe-to-toe about anything to do with Puerto Rico.
Talked about moments of the night. The legendary
That was a cool moment.
In a grove of banana trees, but don't let the relaxed vibe fool you. This message was meant to be intense. Ricky's
Shout out to Ricky Martin. We were just talking about this earlier. Ricky Martin, I respect him a lot. Shout out to the gay community also because Ricky Martin is gay. Yo, in Puerto Rico, we knew for years Ricky Martin was gay. He just never said it out loud because he did not want to be known as that gay Puerto Rican musician. He wanted to be known as a Puerto Rican musician and be known for his music, not be known or liked merely because, oh, he is gay. No, oh, yeah, wow, amazing. Like, no, he's an artist.
chorus. And this was the chorus from Benito's 2025 album that tackles the reality of colonization and gentrification. The lyrics are a haunting warning. Don't let go of the flag because I don't want them to.
That's Hawaii, the song about Hawaii, and it's very true. Hawaii kind of that happened in Hawaii. They lost a little bit of the identity. Majority of people, just like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's a welfare island. Majority of Puerto Ricans live off welfare. I think after Maria, a lot of the youth and people that wanted to work and find better opportunities left the island. And sadly, with welfare, which I detest welfare, very easy to get people on welfare. Very hard to get people off of it. But the problem is that if the government can feed you, the government can starve you. And usually in Puerto Rican politics, just as corrupted as it is here, which we'll talk about that here in a second too. I add on to that. The people that tend to win the government position are the ones that promise more welfare, and that's why I hate welfare, because it becomes a game of, oh, I'm just going to buy elections. You can buy votes by promising more welfare. And of course they're going to vote, which is another reason why I hated that, why we needed to close these borders. So
Gentrification stand. We then see Benito holding proudly the Puerto Rican flag. But a lot of people
shout out. I got it up here. Very proud of Puerto Rico. Got it on my shirt.
Story that's kind of been hidden in plain sight. And the whole story is told through one thing. The color of its blue triangle. So if you look closely, you'll start to notice. Sometimes you'll see the flag with a light sky blue. Others times it's a really deep navy blue. And then there's a medium royal blue too. So it makes you think, which one of these is the real flag of Puerto Rico? Well, the answer is way more complicated and honestly a lot more interesting than you think. You see,
America has had that. As you shout out to, if you look right above me, I have all the different flags of Texas. So I put this painting up here. It's all the historical flags of Texas. Every country, especially Texas, that used to be its own state for a long time. Every country has different flags, especially when you overthrow governments. But yeah, Puerto Rico's no different.
You got the light blue, which is the revolutionary, original way it came back in 1895. Then you got the dark blue. That one was officially adopted in 1952. And finally, there's the medium blue, which has become the de facto or unofficial standard since 1990.
So moving along, another clip that I'm going to show you, it is ABC News clip, and I'll just show you a little bit of it.
Just under 13 minutes. But medley of his
The
global
part,
hits, including the New York.
I have to just show you. I'll show you a photo, guys. There was a part where Bad Bunny's dancing all over the electrical grid, and they got the gentleman's like, dancing around, spinning, and Puerto Rico's electrical grid is completely outdated, but the idea that is always America's fault for internal corruption that happens in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has had more than enough money to revamp the electrical grid. The corruption is really big in Puerto Rico, and part of it is they don't want to upgrade the grid because there's a lot of very high-paying jobs and, a lot of nepotism involved. And now that push comes to shove, Puerto Rico is in extreme debt from a lot of international banks. America gives Puerto Rico a lot of money, and being a welfare island, like, what do you expect? Eventually, those chickens will come and roost. Did I say that right? Yeah. And
The chickens will come home to roost.
that's right.
Remember it from Wolf of Wall Street? And he's
Yeah.
like-
And
he goes, and just like my dad says, the chickens will come home to roost, whatever that means.
And,
Classic.
with that, don't just victimhood sucks, man. Everybody wants to always be like, Puerto Rico's a victim, colonialism, a victim of this, victim of that. Everybody has been victim to government corruption. It's just sadly what it is. I think it's going to get better because I'm going to quote something Ted said. He said, it's just now that the lens of the microscope has gotten wide enough for everybody to see what's happening. And then the internet has helped.
Social media has helped with that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, and they're trying to censor social media every moment that you can. So that's why I'm always careful what I say.
And also misinformation. People will say,
No, with AI.
you heard the story of the little boy who cried wolf. That's what happens. It's like the boy's like, there's a wolf, and everybody's like, there's corruption. And then finally there's corruption. They're like, you always say that.
I mean, corruption is just going to be corruption. Absolute power corrupts. Or power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Lord Acton.
It's just what it... Oh, thank you, Benji. Good job. Damn, that's awesome. Adding on to that, Puerto Rico is amazing. We've always said we're a very special island. We've always hit above our weight class. I always joke and say that genetically we are the perfect race just because we've been a pirate island. We were the first point that Columbus touched. So it means that we were some of the first people to get the, Spaniards. And what makes Puerto Rico, Benji, make sure you take like a little zoom. The very top that I have up here.
We should see it in the wide shot, but
Yeah, you're still in the wide shot, so I'm pointing right up here, guys. Benji will make sure that it's shown. That is what makes Puerto Rico, and I have all three of them. I have light-skinned Spaniard blood.
I see what you're saying. The picture.
I have Sophia. Now you want to be cute? Of course. You're always trying to steal my spotlight. African and indigenous, native, Taino. That's why I always joke around and say we're the perfect genetically. Interesting fact: if you look at any big Puerto Rican family, gordita, you're a little gordita. Their family will look colorful, man. I have so many cousins that look more Afro. I have cousins that are like light-skinned Spaniard. All my female cousins are absolutely beautiful. Shout out to my girl cousins out there. I think some of them have seen my content. I'll hope more of them soon. All the boy cousins, all boy cousins are like chaotic and crazy, just as good looking. But Puerto Rico hits above his weight class. We've had a lot of talent comes out of Puerto Rico, and even in boxing, a lot of boxing, artistry. We're a great asset to America, and that kind of leads me onto my final thought. Just like Puerto Ricans are proud about being Puerto Ricans, guys, American. I'm also very proud of being an American. It's a privilege to be part of this country, for good or better, bad or worse. Because you gotta have identity. When you lose your identity, you lose a piece of yourself. And America has just as much right to, or as much choice. I wouldn't say right, as much choice to be proud of their culture, of their identity. America is majority good. Stop focusing on the small negative. It's what I do with Puerto Rico, but I got to be honest with Puerto Rico too, It's like we have our shortcomings, which is crazy corruption, welfare. But we have a lot of good. We're always partying. We're happy people. How sad can you be when you live in paradise? But that'll leave me to my final thought, which I think I wrote it down here. Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. Sophia, so I'm getting a little zoom out on her. Okay. All right, my final, and I'm going to leave you with my final thought before I put on to the feel-good clip, because I always want to leave you with a feel-good clip. We start high, we start strong, chaotic, insane, and then we finish just as strong, but with a good, warm heart. So my final thought, guys, identity is very important. It unites us. It gives us a chance to build tradition and culture. Don't let anybody rob you from your identity, you know. Culture, tradition is very important, and that's why Puerto Ricans are such a tight-knit community, because we have a lot of that. Because of the bad, because of the good. Just cherish that identity. So, guys, before I play the feel good clip, thank you again for being here, for being part of this idea that Benji helped me create. Really do appreciate him a lot. Find your way to be creative, guys. Anybody can be creative, but you just got to figure out what medium you feel comfortable doing. I would have never thought I'd be able to do this, but started doing it and having a good support system, which is very important. Sophia, stop showing out. Oh my God, this girl's ridiculous. So having a good support system is important, and I think family, friends, community, tradition, and culture is what creates some of the key to happiness. So be like me, always positive, always practicing gratitude. Check out my other videos, Rumble, X, Twitch, all of that good stuff. I'm all over there looking to do live streaming. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'm going to leave you with another wonderful Puerto Rican heavy hitter, Mr. Mark Anthony. He was also married to J-Lo, had twins. Then they split because who's going to make J-Lo happy? Nobody. So, guys, thanks again. IggyThaMan. Subscribe, like, and I will see you next time.